Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into something that, let's be honest, a lot of people in the UK find really challenging, the search for a therapist. We're going to look at a service called Counsellingo and see how it offers a different, maybe simpler path to getting that professional support online. So, are you thinking about therapy? Just taking that first step to even consider it is a huge deal. But then comes the next part. Actually finding someone, and that can feel like a whole mountain you've got to climb.
And this just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It captures that exact frustration so many people feel. You finally get the courage up to reach out for help, only to discover that just finding someone who's actually available is one of the toughest parts of the whole journey.
All right, so let's break down what that frustrating search really looks like. Because if we're going to find a better way, we first have to understand the problem, right?
Does this whole cycle just sound way too familiar? You pour hours, maybe even days, into scrolling through profile after profile. You finally work up the nerve to write those first, really personal emails, and then, what happens? You either get a polite, "Sorry, I'm full," or even worse, you just hear nothing back. Crickets. It's so disheartening. And honestly, it can stop you right in your tracks.
But what if you could just skip that roadblock completely? What if there was a different way to do this? A way that's designed to tackle that exact problem from the get-go.
And this brings us to the first part of the solution: having a relentless, single-minded focus on therapist availability.
So get this. The Counsellingo directory has over 1,162 independent professional counselors and psychotherapists from all over the UK. That's a huge pool of potential support to start from.
But look, a big list doesn't mean much if it's out of date, right? And that's the key here. Every single therapist's availability is checked every single week. This isn't some static list that was updated 6 months ago. This one simple, consistent check totally changes the game, making sure you're only looking at people who are genuinely ready to hear from you.
Okay, so once you know they're actually available, now you can focus on the really important part: finding the right person for you. You can dive in and filter your search by specific issues like depression. You can use hashtags to find specialists in things like ADHD or anxiety. You can sort by the type of therapy, or even pick based on the video platform you like using. It really puts the power to find that perfect match right back in your hands.
Okay, so availability is sorted, but that's only one piece of the puzzle, right? When you're looking for support, you've absolutely got to have trust. Confidence in their credentials, and just as important, confidence in the privacy of your connection.
Now here's something you might not know, and it's super important. In the UK, unlike a lot of other health professions, the title of counselor isn't actually protected by law. This means that, technically, anyone could call themselves one, which makes independent verification absolutely critical for your safety.
So, how do you know who to trust?
Well, that's where this group called the Professional Standards Authority, or PSA, comes in. Think of them as a watchdog. They're an independent body, accountable to Parliament, and their job is to accredit the big professional organizations that do keep registers of qualified therapists, like the BACP or the NCPS.
So Counsellingo uses the system to build your confidence in a really smart, three-layered way. First, every single therapist has to be on one of those PSA-accredited registers. Second, they give you a direct link right on the profile so you can go and check it for yourself. And third, they manually recheck that registration every year just to make sure everything's still up to standard.
All right, so we've got availability, we've got professional standards, but in this day and age, there's another giant question we have to ask. What happens to your personal data?
And this is where things get really, really different depending on the service you use. With a directory model like this, you find a therapist and then you contact them directly. Your relationship is with them and it's confidential. The directory steps back. Your data is never collected or stored by them. But with many intermediary platforms, the platform itself becomes a third party, a middleman in your therapy. They collect, they store, and they process your sensitive personal info. It's a fundamental difference in how your privacy is treated.
So when you put all of these pieces together, what do you get? Well, you get a direct path to therapy. No detours, no middlemen.
And really, it all just boils down to this simple but pretty powerful idea. This is a straightforward directory. Its one and only job is to help you find a verified, available therapist and then get out of the way so you can build that relationship directly.
So let's just pull it all together. What are the big takeaways here? It's built on 4 pillars. 1.
Always current availability, so you're not wasting your time and energy. 2. Verified professional credentials so you can have complete confidence. 3. A direct and confidential relationship that belongs to you and your therapist. And 4. Complete privacy for your data.
And that leaves us with this final thought. In a world full of really complex platforms, could a simpler, directory-first approach be the key to making your search for support a whole lot easier? That's all for this explainer. Thanks for joining me.